We got some interesting announcements at the Nintendo Direct today, and some interesting ones in particular. And looking at how it's going to affect Xbox, or one game for some reason hasn't been announced for Xbox. We got Overwatch 2, the beta is releasing, so if you want to jump into that, I'll have some information on that. And there was a big industry analysis on subscription models and how that is going to continue to grow the industry, and Halo Infinite. What is going on with Halo Infinite? There's another issue I want to talk about, and at this point, I think something needs to change, and somebody needs to take the lead at 343. So Nintendo had their Nintendo Direct Mini yesterday, their partner Direct, which focused on third-party games coming over to the console. There was a lot of cool stuff that they announced, specifically Persona coming over to the Switch, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. There's a remake of the Pac-Man World game coming out. They showed off some more Sonic Frontiers. There's a Live Alive demo, and overall, I thought it was a pretty good show. There's just a lot of stuff to talk about. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope got a release date, which is now set for October 20th, and the first one of this game is a really, really awesome game. I feel like it's one of those games that definitely flies under the radar, but if you like strategy, if you like the gameplay of kind of like a Fire Emblem style of game, go ahead and check out Mario plus Rabbids. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Now, besides those announcements, two things I kind of want to focus on here that I think is very interesting. The first one here is that Persona, just like with Xbox, it being a massive announcement at the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, it is now coming over to the Nintendo Switch. And I think one of the biggest reasons why it was a big announcement for Xbox was, first of all, obviously it had never been on the platform before, but secondly, it came to Game Pass. It's coming to Game Pass, and you're going to be able to access this game any means that you want, through PC, through console, through the cloud. And through the cloud means you're going to be able to play this game on your phone, which makes it a portable game. And Persona is perfect to play portably. And now it's coming over to the Nintendo Switch. And Nintendo Switch, as we know, is a portable console that everyone is going to be able to just buy these games and play right on there. And I feel like this is going to be very interesting to keep an eye on going forward, specifically as to how this game does, or how all three of these Persona games do on the Nintendo Switch versus how they do on Xbox in Japan. Because one of the things I think with Persona coming over to Xbox Game Pass is Xbox wanted to push that out there to get the Japanese gamers to jump into the ecosystem and then be able to play these games on their phone. But we know the Nintendo Switch is extremely popular. They're the most popular device right now, with like 109 million sales and everything. It's just done so well since it released in 2017, one of the most successful consoles of all time. And now gamers in Japan are going to be able to play Persona on their Nintendo Switch, which it already has a massive install base. So I wonder if this is going to deter people from signing up to Game Pass to play these games. The big draw though to Xbox and Persona is just the fact that they are coming to Game Pass. So you're not going to have to pick up each of these games separately, because these are all going to be sold separately. It says here, note, all three games will be sold separately. All three games will be in full HD and include both English and Japanese voice acting. Now, in terms of the release date, it seems like they're doing the exact same thing they're doing with Game Pass and with Xbox. I'm guessing they're all just going to release on the same day, as Persona 5 is the first one that is going to be releasing on October 21st, and then followed at a later date with Persona 4 Golden and then Persona 3 Portable. And then we have this really, really weird thing going on, and I have no idea if this is just not been confirmed yet, if it will eventually be confirmed, and this has to do with Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, which is something a lot of people have been wanting for a very long time. Now, when this announcement happened, a lot of people were very excited. I was excited as well. These are great games. Played some of them back on the Game Boy Advance, and they're releasing this collection. There's going to be 10 games. They're releasing the collection in 2 parts. So it's a collection a lot of people have been wanting for a very long time. We've gotten tons of Mega Man collections over the years, and this is one of the ones that we hadn't gotten, and now it's finally here. Now, game looks awesome. I'm probably going to eventually jump into this at some point. The problem with this announcement right now, if you're on Xbox, is that it seems like it is skipping Xbox, which just doesn't make any sense. First of all, we've seen all of the other collections come out onto Xbox. Capcom generally doesn't skip Xbox. They skipped Xbox with Street Fighter V, but then they're bringing Street Fighter 6 to Xbox. So it's kind of weird what's going on here. Maybe it just hasn't 100% been confirmed or announced. Maybe there's some sort of embargo that was paid, similar to what Xbox did with their Xbox and Bethesda showcase, where there was an embargo for certain games that they couldn't announce it was coming on to other platforms until a couple of days after the show itself. Maybe that's what's going on here. Or maybe it's skipping Xbox. I just don't see why it would skip Xbox other than there's some sort of business deal in the background that would keep it off the platform, because there's definitely people that are going to want to play this game on Xbox. There's definitely money to be made there. But we look here, you see the platform Switch, PS4, Steam. We'll wait and see what happens. Maybe they just didn't announce it at the Nintendo Direct, and maybe it will be confirmed for Xbox later on. All right, we got to talk about Halo Infinite and the state of the game right now, as it pains me to see things like this, because I absolutely love Halo. I think Halo Infinite is a ton of fun. I say it all the time. The gameplay is outstanding, but the way that the game has been managed so far by 343, I think, has been a pretty big issue. Now, there is a desync issue that goes on with Melee within Halo Infinite. We can just quickly take a look at this video here. You'll see what I mean as he goes through here. And as he goes to Melee, the character, it's just not going to be very... It's not going to register. Let's just put it that way. It's going to be... there's going to be a lag between when you push the button and then when the actual Melee comes into play. And 343, well, here's the post. It says Melee and or player collision is still incredibly broken. Here's a pair of examples from the past week that made me rethink playing this game. And Melee is a huge part of Halo, so if that's not working up to par, it definitely takes away from the experience. So 343 decided to give an update on the desync issue and why it's taking so long to fix. And here's what they said. Just wanted to comment that we appreciate these types of compilations. Videos like this always get pulled into bug/task threads for UCN networking improvements. I don't know if Twitter or Reddit is the best place to go into all the details about why there's been a lack of UCN improvements. There's a lot of factors, so I'll keep it brief. The TLDR of it is the devs that would work on these fixes have been allocated to other Infinite work. Their work has had some knock-on benefit to our UCN solution, especially around movers, players, vehicles, etc., on object devices, elevators, pistons, bridges, etc., but not around the Melee and around the wall shots. These devs are coming home to Sandbox soon. The community and competitive insights team have done an amazing job at letting us know how frustrating these kinds of situations are. It is high on our priority of fixes. So there you have it. I mean, essentially, they're saying they are working on other things right now and they don't have the development resources in order to fix things like the collision issues, the desync issues that I would say are probably, for lots of people who are experiencing this, and if it's very much experienced by a huge amount of the community, a huge issue that needs to be fixed ASAP. Now, to me, I get what they're saying. They have a lot of stuff going on. They're working on other stuff with Infinite. We know they're bringing out more content, but I'm running out of, I guess, excuses right now for stuff like this for Halo Infinite and for 343 to kind of say that everything is going to work out. I think they will fix this issue. I think eventually all this stuff over the long period of time will get fixed. I mean, you look at Halo the Master Chief Collection, where that started to where it is now and how amazing it is. My only thing with this is Halo Infinite is such a prominent franchise. It's such a big Xbox franchise. I feel like somebody at 343 or somebody with an Xbox needs to take the lead and make sure that these things are handled in a more prompt fashion, to have a leader out there to make sure that when there are big issues like this that definitely affect gameplay on a day-to-day basis, these are prioritized and not pushed to the back burner, because this is what's going to turn people off from playing Halo Infinite. And this is what's going to turn people off from coming back to the game, or if they do come back, staying on the game when problems like this just haven't been fixed. So we'll wait and see how long it takes for them to fix it. We know there's a lot of stuff coming still, a lot of content, Battle Royale, Season 3, new maps, new weapons have been leaked, and Halo Infinite is going to eventually turn out to be a complete awesome game with a ton of content, because the gameplay and the foundation is there. But things like this, I don't know why they would be pushed to the back burner when, to me, this is an extremely pressing issue. All right, let's jump over here to talk about Overwatch and Overwatch 2. As we know, Overwatch 2 is coming out on October 4th. It's going to be completely taking over the current Overwatch. So if you're playing Overwatch 1 right now, you're going to be into Overwatch 2 once this launches. And the beta right now is going on if you want to test the game from June 28th until July 18th. It says here, starting today on June 28th until July 18th, players on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S will have the opportunity to join our beta test for the first time before Overwatch 2 officially launches on October 4th. And what you're going to be able to try out within this beta is the new tank hero Junker Queen, the new map Rio, a new push game mode, and players will be able to experience new and reimagined 5v5 gameplay and redesigned heroes. So that's a ton of content that you're going to be able to try out before the game actually officially releases, to see what's good, what's bad, what needs to be improved. I mean, the Overwatch community has been playing Overwatch for a long time now. They know what is good, what is bad, and they'll be able to give a lot of advice for improving this game before it does officially launch. But if you haven't signed up for the beta, because you had to opt in for this before getting the invite to it, you can actually buy Overwatch 2 Watch Point Pack on the Xbox store, which will grant you immediate beta access. It's $40. It gives you a bunch of extra content, skins, and additional things within it. So if you're into that, check out what's in that pack and see if it's worth buying if you want to get into the beta if you aren't. But yeah, Overwatch 2 is going to be huge, and I know this is a Xbox Game Studios game. It is going to be on all the different platforms, but it is going to be a massive game that brings in a ton of players and just huge for Xbox in general when it does officially launch. And hey, maybe by October 4th the Activision Blizzard deal will be closer to closing, or it may be closed, who knows, because we know it's supposed to close sometime before June 2023. All right, jumping over here to talk about subscription services within the video game industry, and in particular growth in 2022. So there was a market forecast today from DFC Intelligence, and DFC Intelligence is a leading provider of industry analysis and market forecasting for the video game industry. And they talked about 2022 and what's going to be driving the growth for the gaming industry. And they're saying here that it is going to be the growth in subscription services for both the PC and the console market. So particularly, they're saying for 2022, they expect software and console and PC to be $72 billion, up 5% from last year's mark, saying a major driver of this growth is not new releases, but increasing usage of subscription services from Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and others. And the console game business is expected to see a third of software service revenue going to Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo for their game subscription services, Game Pass, Switch Online, and the newly revamped PlayStation Plus. So this isn't surprising at all. I mean, Xbox has been at the forefront of these subscription models since they released Game Pass in 2017. That service has continued to grow and get better and better and get more subscribers. Then you look at PlayStation. When they launched the PS5 in 2020, I was one of those people that said they're going to be releasing an improved subscription model for PlayStation at some point, something to go against Xbox Game Pass. And now they have started to do that. They're trying to do that with their PlayStation Plus memberships, with the upgrade to 3 different tiers. And that's going to continue to grow as well. You would be naive to think that PlayStation Plus membership, the PlayStation Plus subscription, isn't going to get better as the years go on. If you look at Xbox Game Pass when it first started in 2017, yes, there were good offerings there, but it just got so much better as it went on, especially when we got the announcement for the day one Xbox Game Pass games. And I foresee in the future PlayStation Plus doing that with their first party games, putting their games into the service day one. We're not sure when that will happen, but I do see that happening sometime in the future. And then you have Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Online. I mean, their service out of the 3 is obviously the worst in terms of the content that you get. It's obviously as well the cheapest in terms of the price for it, but they are bringing more to their subscription model with more retro games. Maybe they'll bring more of their other consoles on there. Maybe they'll bring GameCube stuff and things like that, which could flesh it out more. So it's a part of the industry that is the future. It's a part of the industry that Xbox right now has a huge leg up on, as we see Xbox Game Pass is the best service, and we see developers and publishers want to put their content on there because of the statistics and data they have of how their games perform and how their games can potentially do better and reach more audiences once they enter into the subscription service of Xbox Game Pass. But that's not all. That's the big advantage for Xbox Game Pass. You look at a year like 2022 so far, which in general I think has been down in terms of like hardware sales compared to 2021. And you could look at a lot of different things for that. There haven't been as many big game releases, but at the same time, one of the biggest things is that chip shortage and supply issue that's been going on for years now and is going to continue. And what a subscription service does, like Xbox Game Pass, it allows the company to continue to grow and continue to make money with all of those things happening in the background. When we looked at the numbers of the MPD growth throughout this year so far, Xbox has been one of the only companies that's actually increased their growth and increase their revenue. And it has to do with Xbox Game Pass and the fact that people can access it through multiple different devices. They don't actually have to go out and buy an Xbox to get to it, which with PlayStation, their strategy when they launched the PS5 didn't change from the PS4. It was essentially the exact same thing, and they're faulting on that, in my opinion. They pushed the consoles into the home, and then they were thinking that they're just going to do the same thing, release big first-party games, make people go out and buy the console, and they're going to easily win, which obviously right now we're seeing is not the case, as not only is Xbox doing better on their subscription services, they are doing right now better in terms of selling their console. So it's going to be really, really interesting. All of this competition between these three companies is really back at the top again. They're all jostling for position, and it just gives more content and better content for the consumers at the end of the day. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts on the Nintendo Direct, and specifically Persona coming to the Switch and that Mega Man collection that hasn't been announced for Xbox yet. What do you think about Halo Infinite, and what do you think is going on with 343? Do you think they need to have some more leadership to get those fixes done faster? What do you think about that industry analysis and these subscription models pushing the industry forward? And will you be checking out Overwatch 2? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.